गणानाकान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामभित्रजवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ तच्छंयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ॐ भूमिर्भूम्नाद्यौर्वरिणान्तरिक्षं महित्वा उपस्थेते देव्यदितेऽग्निमन्नादमन्नाद्यायाददे आयङ्गौ स्पृश्निरक्रमीदसनन्वातरं पुनः पितरं च प्रयन्सुवः त्रिगुं सद्धाम विराजति वाक्पतङ्गाय शिश्रिये प्रत्यस्य वहद्युभिः अस्य प्राणादपानत्यन्तश्चरति रोचना व्यख्यन्महिषः सुवः यत्त्वागा क्रुद्धः परो वपमञ्जुना यदवर्चा सुकल्पमग्ने तत्तव पुनस्त्वोद्दीपयामसि यत्ते मन्युपरोक्तस्य पृथिवीमनुदध्वसे आदित्या विश्वे तद्देवा वसवश्च समाभरन् मनो ज्योतिर्जुषतामाज्यं विच्छिन्नं यज्ञगुं समिमं दधातु बृहस्पतिस्तनुतामिमन्नो विश्वे देवा इह मादयन्ताम् मेदिनी देवी वसुन्धरा स्याद्वसुधा देवी वासवी ब्रह्मवर्चसः पितॄणागुश्रोत्रं चक्षुर्मनः देवी हिरण्यगर्भिणी देवी प्रसूवरी सदने सत्यायने सीदा समुद्रवती सावित्री खनो देवी मह्यङ्गी महीधरणी महोव्यधिष्ठा शृङ्गे शृङ्गे यज्ञे यज्ञे विभीषिणी इन्द्रपत्नी व्यापिनी सुरसरिदिहा वायुमती जलशयनी श्रियन्धाराजा सत्यन्धो परिमेदिनी स्वोपरिधत्तं परिगाय विष्णुपत्नीं महीं देवीं माधवीं माधवप्रियां लक्ष्मीं प्रियसखीं देवीं नमां यच्युतवल्लभां धनुर्धरायै विद्महे सर्वसिद्ध्यै च धीमहि तन्नो धराः प्रचोदयात् महीं देवीं विष्णुपत्नीमजूर्जां प्रतीचीमेनागः हविषा यजाबखाम् त्रेधा विष्णुरुरुगायो विचक्रमे महीं दिवं पृथिवीमन्तरिक्षं तच्छोडैति श्रव इच्छमाना पुण्यग्श्लोकं यजमानाय कृण्वति ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ॐ अग्ना विष्णु सजोषसेमा वर्धन्तु वाङ्गिरः जुम्नैर्वाजेभिरागतं वाजश्च मे प्रसवश्च मे प्रयतिश्च मे प्रसितिश्च मे धीतिश्च मे क्रतुश्च मे स्वरश्च मे श्लोकश्च मे श्रावश्च मे श्रुतिश्च मे ज्योतिश्च मे सुवश्च मे प्राणश्च मे पानश्च मे ज्ञानश्च मे सुश्च मे चित्तञ्च आधीतञ्च मे वाक्च मे मनश्च मे चक्षुश्च मे श्रोत्रञ्च मे दक्षश्च मे बलञ्च मोजश्च मे सखश्च आयुश्च मे जरा च आत्मा च मे तनूश्च मे शर्म च मे वर्म च मेऽङ्गानि च मे स्थानि च मे परूगुंसि च मे शरीराणि च मे ज्यैष्ठं च आधिपत्यं च मे मन्युश्च मे भामश्च मे मश्च मेऽम्बश्च मे जेमा च मे महिमा च मे वरिमा च मे प्रधिमा च मे वर्ष्मा च मे द्राभुजा च मे वृद्धं च मे वृद्धिश्च मे सत्यं च मे श्रद्धा च मे जगच्च मे धनं च मे वशश्च मे त्विषिश्च मे क्रीडा च मे मोदश्च मे जातं च मे जनिष्यमानं च मे सूक्तं च मे सुकृतं च मे वित्तं च मे वेद्यं च मे भूतं च मे भविष्यच्च मे सुगं च मे सुपदं च रुद्धं च मरुद्धिश्च मे क्लुप्तं च मे क्लुप्तिश्च मे मतिश्च मे सुमतिश्च मे शञ्च मे मयश्च मे प्रियं च मे नुकामश्च मे कामश्च मे सौमनसश्च मे भद्रं च मे श्रेयश्च मे वश्यश्च मे यशश्च मे भगश्च मे द्रविणं च मे यन्ता च मे धर्ता च मे क्षेमश्च मे धृतिश्च मे विश्वं च मे मखश्च मे संविच्च मे ज्ञात्रं च मे सूश्च मे प्रसूश्च मे सीरं च मे लजश्च मरुतं च मे अमृतं च मे यक्ष्मं च मे नामयच्च मे जीवातुश्च मे दीर्घायत्वं च मे नमित्रं च मे भयं च मे सुगं च मे शयनं च मे शूषा च मे सुदिनं च मे ऊर्च मे सुनृता च मे पयश्च मे रसश्च मे घृतं च मे मधु च मे सद्धिश्च मे सपीतिश्च मे कृषिश्च मे वृष्टिश्च मे जैत्रं च औद्भिद्यं च मे रजिश्च मे राजश्च मे पुष्टं च मे पुष्टिश्च मे विभु च मे प्रभु च मे बहु च मे भूयश्च मे पूर्णं च मे पूर्णतरं च मे क्षितिश्च मे पूजवाश्च मेऽन्नं च मे क्षुच्च मे व्रीहयश्च मे यमाकाश्च मे माशाकाश्च मे तिलाकाश्च मे मुद्गाश्च मे खल्वाकाश्च मे गोधूमाकाश्च मे मसुराकाश्च मे प्रियङ्गवश्च मेणवश्च मे श्यामकाकाश्च मे नीवाराकाश्च मे अश्मा च मे मृत्तिका च मे गिरजश्च मे पर्वताश्च मे सिकताश्च मे वनस्पतयश्च मे हिरण्यं च मे यश्च मे सीसं च मे त्रपुश्च मे श्यामं च मे लोहं च मे अग्निश्च आपश्च मे मेरुधश्च महोषधयश्च मे कृष्णपत्यं च मे कृष्णपत्यश्च पश्यञ्च मे ग्राम्याश्च मे पशव आरण्याश्च यज्ञेन कल्पन्तां वित्तञ्च मे वित्तिश्च मे भूतञ्च मे भूतिश्च मे वसु च मे वसतिश्च मे कर्म च मे शक्तिश्च मे अर्धश्च मयेमश्च मयितिश्च मे गतिश्च मे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Our Father, thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, for thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not hate each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hari Om, Shalom, Sairam, Namaste. Offering our collective love at the lotus feet of the Father and the Son for their immense love and grace. And the presence of the love that sacrifices itself on the cross, the love that is born to transcend the temptations of the material, the mind, and even the death. As the three kings have recognized, offering him the gold coins, the frankincense, and the myrrh, recognizing that the one that is born is not tempted by anything associated with the material objects, nor the temptations of the vasanas or the senses, and even the death. The one who is fearless, the one that is supreme love and compassion, then who was born to summarize the essence of the entire scriptures into very practical ways of living through love and through service. The most dearest son that was ever born on this earth, to the Father, to that Jesus the Christ, we shall be present totally here and now. Om Yagnishwaraya Vidmahe Yesunadhaya Dhimahi Tanno Tyagi Prachodayat. We know this one that is born for conducting the supreme Yajna. Ayur Yajnena Kalpatam Prano Yajnena Kalpatam Apano Yajnena Kalpatam Vyano Yajnena Kalpatam Chakshur Yajnena Kalpatagushrotram Yajnena Kalpatam Mano Yajnena Kalpatam Vag Yajnena Kalpatam Atma Yajnena Kalpatam Yajno Yajnena Kalpatam. The complete meaning of this verse is the life and the crucifixion of Jesus the Christ. Not simply the intellectual, the idealism of sacrifice, not simply the idea of sacrifice, not simply the understanding of the sacrifice, but the complete living of the sacrifice. This summarized as two words, Jesus the Christ, in the history of humanity that we have come across and the history has documented. Of course, there are so many Jesus the Christ that were born, but this one Jesus the Christ that we are celebrating as his birth, it can, what it means to be sacrificing everything is simply the study of the life of Jesus the Christ. And we are studying this Chamakam in the context of that sacrifice. What is it that you have to sacrifice? What is it that we are collectively looking at? That all of this stuff, the materials, the skills, the capacities, everything, Chame, that we are, or may we be blessed with those for sake of what? For sake of sacrifice. Actually not receiving them, but actually invoking them only for the sake of Yajnena Kalpatam, for the sacrifice for universal peace. As I was reflecting on this 2020 year, and one of the greatest boons Bhagavan gave all of us together is the study of the Sri Rudram for almost 3/4 of the year since April, right around the time of the Easter, and now continuing and concluding this year with the Christmas. It is such a blessing to be in the satsang that you are collectively seeing together, feeling together. And it all began in March with doing this 11 days of Atirudra Parayanam, invoking 1,600 people across the globe. And then so many brothers and sisters across the globe doing this Ekadashi Rudra Parayanam every day since then, or even before that, I believe. And then just in the context of how much of love and prayers have poured from all over the world, that has truly protected, I believe, and I sincerely believe, getting through this so-called tough year, forcing everyone to go inside, to look inside, and to be inside. What a blessing that is. But of course, the unfortunate thing of our own dearest ones in and around us, hundreds of thousands of them, or perhaps millions across the world, being consumed by the pandemic, the social, the economic, the political, all through all this turbulence, how we have sustained together in prayers, how we have sustained together. And I remember in April we were doing Satcharitra Par, and then there was Guru Purnima, then we started this 95 days of prayers. Then through that we did the Devi Mahatmyam study during the Navaratri, and concluding with 31 hours of continuous chanting of Rudram. Just if you go back and reflect upon it, what an incredible, immense blessing has been bestowed upon all of us together, to be together in unity, to look at it together, to be in it together, and to transcend through it together, and more to come, and concluding the year with the vaccine, and hopefully the beginning of an end of a pandemic. What have we done through this? How has this pandemic transformed each and every one of us? And if it didn't, why did it not help us connect to be inside? If it did, how do we sustain it? All of this is sacrifice. Maybe it is not sacrifice, because so much of it was unneeded. That was total futile waste of time and energy that the humanity collectively put together has poured. So much of human energy was wasted until 2020 hit. And maybe it's a wake-up call to realize that how much of energy is not utilized for the welfare of the world or the universal peace. This is what we are studying. You see, brothers and sisters, whether we understand the meaning of these words, and grasping the meaning of these words is 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 the very, very initial first step. But that is not the end of it. The speaker describing the meaning of these words and you all getting awed by it or otherwise is not the purpose of this. The purpose of this is truly a collective consciousness. Individually and collectively, are we together in this? Are we together? Are we together? This is the only question we have to ask. Are we together? I don't know if I post this thing yesterday. Bhagavan was I was reflecting upon. I was reflecting upon what is loneliness and what is to be alone. And then Bhagavan very beautifully gave this insight. You might have seen this on the Facebook. I posted it on the Facebook. But if you look at the word one and just add an extra L to it, an L in the beginning, an L, A-L, and the L for love, you became alone. And this is the staying inside. And this is what is called the solitude. Solitude. This solitude is the very first step to be with that one inside, alone, solitude. Seeing the one inside is alone. But if you add an extra L to that alone, ALLONE is all one. One, seeing the one inside is alone, and seeing all around is all one. This is the essence of Jesus Christ's life, Bhagavan said. So in the very first step of spirituality, you have to first see the one inside. But then truly through expansion, it becomes all one. As I have pointed out so many times, close the eyes, alone. Open the eyes, all one. Close the eyes, alone. Open the eyes, all one. And that seeing of opening the eyes outside to see the material is not seeing with the objective sensual eye, EYE, but it is to see with the actual I, which is the supreme I as the letter I. So much of pun and the words, it's not trying to be cute or smart. It is truly just speaking the way it is. I hope you are with me. Are you seeing it with me? Are you please? And thinking about this and studying Bhagavad Gita over the last couple of days, because it was Gita Jayanti, it was very clear when Krishna said, now I'm giving you the actual eye to see the eye, that eye that Arjuna had seen all in one, all in one. This is the Vishwarupa Darshanam. This is what the Virat Swarupam that Arjuna has been bestowed with, the darshan. Open the eye, Arjuna. You will not be able to see with your eye, EYE. Therefore, I am going to give you the eye, the supreme eye, with which only this can be seen, not as an objective experience, but as the complete experience of the one that has all in the one. That is the Vishwarupa Darshanam. And in the context of that, what we are studying in Chamakam, don't look at this as now I am asking for all this material, all of this stuff, etc. You are not even asking, you are simply saying, all of that is with me here and now. I am complete abundance, and therefore there is nothing that is stopping to me to be that I, Allone. And with that as the preamble, we shall enter into the fifth Anvakam. Ashma cha me, mrittika cha me, girayascha me, parvatascha me, sikatascha me. Let's take those. And then vanaspatayascha me. Ashma, mrittika, gira, parvata, sikata, vanaspati. What are these things? The literal meaning of all of this, Ashma means boulders. Mrittika is clay, soil. Girayaha, hills. Parvataha, mountains. Sikatah, sand. Vanaspatayaha, trees, predominantly trees in a forest. Why do you have to have this, sir? Why are you saying, may I be blessed with all these things? Boulder, clay, hills, mountains, sand, trees. Why should we be blessed with those?
Trees are for oxygen.
In the fourth Anvakam, we spoke all about all the different foods. So we need materials to cook the food. The trees give us wood.
What does the boulders give?
To build the buildings, to make the accommodations for people to live and survive and protect what we have collected, whether it is grains or materials.
Have you heard this before, Amma?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for reminding. Exactly right. For a place of living, you require those. Just check it out. Just look around where you are living. Your house, your own house. Just see what it has been built with. Especially if you are in India, it is pretty obvious. Here we live in so-called, in America, we live in this kind of houses which are Galilo Medalu, castles built on air. With very simply, at least they use the wood. Most of what we live in are wood houses. So for a place of living, you are using this Mother Earth. And this Mother Earth, as we talked about, continues, the theme of Mother Earth continues. And every aspect of, even for our living, how much she has been sacrificed. The atrocity of the human that has destroyed for the sake of our own comfortable living, how many forests, how many hills, how many boulders, dynamites have been blasted. But yet, the mother provides Ashma, Mrittika, Giraya, Parvata, Sikata, Vanaspatayaha. Not only that, as we move into the next set, Hiranyanchame, ayascha me, seesancha me, trapushcha me, shyamancha me, lohancha me. If you simply have a place to live, and then you require these things called the metals, Hiranyam is gold, Ayaha is iron, Sisam is lead, Trapu, Trapu is tin, Shyamam is black iron, Loham means alloys of metals, combination of copper, bronze, alloys of metals. Just look around in your own kitchen. Mostly what we find now is nothing to do with these kind of things, but if you're lucky and you're in India, you will be able to connect to every one of those metals. And those are required for us to even to prepare whatever we asked in fourth Anvakam as food. And to do that, you require two things, Agnihi, Apaha, fire and water. Are you all with me? Hello. Are we all connecting?
Yes.
Yes, we are still too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Sairam.
Are we cooking together now? Are we cooking together?
Yes, sir. No, no.
Yes. Yes. Agnihi apaha. Then in the fourth Anvakam, we have all different types of grains and oil seeds and all those things. But for this palate of a fellow from Andhra, if you only have those things and the food is bland, life is wasted. So therefore, you require some kind of ingredients that makes it more tasty and aromatic, etc. Therefore, it is virudhayaha, creepers, oshadhayaha, medicinal plants. Now it's a little bit of biology. Virudhayaha, creepers, oshadhayaha means medicinal herbs. What's the difference between a virudhi and oshadhi? Oshadhi means a medicinal herb. Once it flowers, it perishes. Whereas virudhi means a single flowering cycle does not make the plant perish. It will produce flowers multiple number of times and fruits or whatever multiple number of times. If you know a little bit of gardening, you will understand that. Virudhi means something like a cucumber, a watermelon, some of the creepers like potlakai, dosakai, all these kayas, berakai, dondakai, all these kayas that we eat, all those are virudhis, means they produce flowers multiple number of cycles and multiple harvests. Whereas those that produce flowers, once they produce the flowers, the cycle is over. Oshadhi. There is an inner meaning about all of these things, and obviously, brothers and sisters, I am whatever this speaker is describing is only pointers. I don't have complete knowledge around any of these things. I myself still continue to study, and every time I contemplate on, what does this really mean? Virudhi means one that is born multiple number of times. Oshadhi, the one that is only born for one purpose, and once they are born and they're done, they're never born again. There's only one life born. and very short cycle of life. Oshadhi. That's why they are medicinal people. That those that are born over and over again are the Virudhis. Then through all of this, you are creating two kinds of food, Krishtapacham, Akristapacham. Krishtapacham, Krishi and Pacham means that food which is produced through cultivation. Akristapacham, food that is produced without cultivation. What is produced without cultivation? Is all the stuff that we have in the wilderness where nobody is cultivating, but there are so many herbs, so many medicinal plants, so much of it is without any cultivation. And there is food that is produced through cultivation. Krishtapachanchame, Akristapachanchame. And those that are domesticated, Gramyaha, Gramyaha, Gramyashchame. And then there are these animals, Pashavaha, the livestock. So there is all these plants, etc., that are domesticated, that are cultivated, and animals that are domesticated, that are cultivated, and undomesticated, Aranyaha. All of this, what we are doing? Yajnena kalpantam. Oh my God. All of this beautifully described. I'm ready for my food. And then you say Yajnena kalpantam. That aspect of sacrifice is never, ever left off in the Veda mantras. All of it, now you're saying that may, this may, whatever may, whoever may, whenever may, chame. All of that is yajnena kalpantam. And that is the beauty of when you listen to this, what comes to your mind very before you eat the food? What comes to your mind? Hello. When you put a plate of food in front of you, what comes to your mind?
Too much of effort has gone into making and producing all of this stuff. Something.
Seriously, every time you eat a plate of food, you are thinking about that? Honestly, sir, Sudhakar?
Brahmarpanam.
Brahmarpanam. Yes. Brahmarpanam.
Thanks.
Brahmarpanam. That's what comes into the mind. Brahmarpanam should come into the mind. Yajnena kalpantam is Brahmarpanam. All this food and everything, and a comfortable place where you are sitting, cooking, using all this material, the metals that are used for cooking, a place where you are cooking, and the food that you are bringing together to cook, and all of that, some of it domesticated, some of it undomesticated, some of it containing produced by livestock, all of that, some of it organic, uncultivated, and otherwise cultivated, which is a complete bogus. Anyway, I don't want to get into that. So the context of all of that coming together, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaivate nagantavyam, Brahmakarma samadhina. Because it's impossible, impractical for any human mind to sit in front of that plate and now trying to think about how much has gone into that plate of food that we are eating. And therefore you recognize the one that has made it all possible. And therefore you say, that is what I am offering to the Brahman. Within me, Brahmarpanam. And in to that Brahman as a havis, as the material in the offering of the Brahman, Brahmagnav, in the fire of the Brahman, Brahmana hutihi, to be consumed by the Brahman. And after it is consumed, the energy that is coming out, Brahmaivatena gantavyam, and it is used for the work of the Brahman, Brahma Karma, with equipoised intellect, Samadhina. A lot of people chant Brahma Karma Samadhinaha. It is incorrect. Samadhina. Samadhinaha means the meaning will be completely different. Brahma Karma Samadhina. Brahmarpanam is the supreme prayer, the food prayer. What's the origin of this prayer?
Bhagavad Gita.
Where in Bhagavad Gita?
3rd chapter.
And what is the 3rd chapter?
Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga.
Why are you laughing, Amma?
Just went through that recently, so I'm just laughing.
Oh, okay. So you are prepared. Okay, very good. Very good. In the Tritiya, now Gita Jayanti, so I'm sure she went through this during Gita Jayanti. In the Karma Yoga, Bhagavan very beautifully describes everything about the action. And in the context of that action, are you sure it is a Karma Yoga? I don't know. I have to go back and look at it. But whatever the yoga is, the yoga is recognizing that everything is the Brahman, the one. Now, if you look at all the preamble that I was going through, and you're all wondering what is this Shekharji randomly talking about all this stuff, it all points out to that. Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karmas Samadhina. Now, yeah, it is actually, sorry, Amma, it is the 4th chapter, the Jnana Yoga.
Yes,
Bhagavan
Jnana
Krishna,
Yoga, verse
yeah.
24. I just
Yes.
looked up the
Gata Sangasya Muktasya Jnanavasthita Chetanaha Yajnayacharatah Karma Samagram Praviliyate Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi Brahmagnau Brahmana Hutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina Daivameva Parayajnam Yoginah Paryupasate Brahmagnavapare Yajnam Yajnenaivopajuhvati Shrotadindriyanyanye Samyamagnishu Juhvati Shabdadin Vishayananya Indriyagnishu Juhvati Sarvani Indriya Karma कर्माणि प्राणकर्माणि चापरे आत्मसंयमयोगाग्नौ जुह्वति ज्ञानदीपिते द्रव्ययज्ञास्तपो यज्ञा योगयज्ञास्तथा परे स्वाध्यायज्ञानयज्ञाश्च यतयः संसितव्रताः अपाने जुह्वति प्राणं प्राणे पानं तथा परे प्राणापानगतिरुद्धा प्राणायामपरायणाः. I don't want to turn this into Gita Yajna, but in this Jnana Yoga 4th chapter, Bhagavan is very beautifully describing what we only know Brahmarpanam Brahmavi as a shloka associated with food prayer. But Bhagavan is very beautifully describing all the different yajnas that we are doing, including the pranayama yajna, and how every aspect about our indriyas, the actions associated with those senses, are associated with this yajna. And looking at everything, every aspect of our karma in the context of that yajna is jnana. This is the supreme awareness, and that is what we are looking at. What is yajna? Bhagavan is describing everything associated with this is yajna. Now yajnena kalpantam. Ashma च मे मृत्तिका च मे गिरयश्च मे पर्वताश्च मे सिकताश्च मे वनस्पतयश्च मे हिरण्यञ्च मे अयश्च मे सीसञ्च मे त्रपुश्च मे श्यामञ्च मे लोहञ्च मे अग्निश्चम आपश्चमे वीरुधश्चम ओषधयश्च मे कृष्टपच्यञ्च मे अकृष्टपच्यञ्च मे ग्राम्याश्च मे पशव आरण्याश्च यज्ञेन कल्पन्ताम्. Then vittam, vittihi, bhutam, bhutihi, vasu, vasatihi, karma, shakti, ardha, ema, iti, gati. How beautiful this is. How beautiful this is. Vittam, what is already procured. Vittihi, that is to be procured. Bhutam, before. Bhutihi, to be. Vasu, vasati. Each and every word that we use is a beautiful study of these words, is beautiful if you start looking at each and every word. And I'm purposefully using the word, if you start to look at the words, not say the words. If you start looking at the words, Medini Devi Vasundhara Syadvasudha Devi Vasavi. Vasumati, Vasundhara, Vasavi are all the synonyms used for Mother Earth. So Vasumati, Vasumdhara, Vasavi. The common word is Vasu. So the literal meaning of this word Vasu means that which is vitalizing. That which vitalizes the mind is Vasumati. That which holds or harbors or the source of vitality is Vasundhara. That vitality in which we are present is Vasavi. Vasu, Vasati. Vasati means what? How do we use the word Vasati? Huh? How, in what colloquial sense we use the word Vasati?
Accommodation.
Accommodation. Accommodation. You see, sir, how incredible the human mind uses these words in a colloquial sense without connecting to what actually that word truly means in the context of what that word is saying, not how we are interpreting that word in our own awareness of sometimes even stupidity. I'm not saying that in the context of using the word stupidity as something that is denigrating or degrading somebody's intellect or anything like this. But that simply means ignorance. Simply means ignorance. Even the words like innocent. You know the meaning of the word innocent? Innocent means the one who cannot be hurt. Innocent means that. The one who cannot be hurt is innocent. And in colloquial Indian languages or in Sanskritam, we call Amayakudu, Amayaka. Amayakudu means the one who is not affected by Maya. If you are affected by Maya, you will be hurt. Constantly hurt. Because you have an image of Maya about you, that you are this, you are that, you are great, you are maybe not great, or you are bombarded with all this brainstorming about how stupid you are or how great you are, or people around you telling you how fantastic you are, how brilliant you are, or how ugly you are, or how beautiful you are, how pretty you are. All of that images that we carry of ourselves, and when somebody pricks on it, we are hurt. We are super hurt. And the one who doesn't have that image about himself is innocent, and he can be never hurt. This is why it's called Amayaka, Amayakudu. So you look at this word Vasu, Vasati, and all the context of the Chamakam, fifth Anuvakam, how we are looking at the meaning of these things, how inspiring the awareness about what we are talking here. And this Vasu and Vasati are given to you for a responsible living and in action, karmaschame. And that karma has a Shakti associated. This is the energy, the capacity that is coming from all this material. Karmaschame, Shaktischame. And that will give you ardhaschame, the material that is actually giving you the Shakti, the energy to act, and as well as the material wealth to execute on what? Emaha. Ema means goal, the target with a purpose. And what is the goal and purpose? What is the goal and purpose, sir?
To serve the society.
Universal peace, Yajna Kalpantam. Emaschame, the goal and the target of all of this Vasu, Vasati, karma, shakti, ardha, vittam, vitti, bhutam, bhuti, everything. It is towards a target, and the target is universal peace, which is about oneness. Emaschame itihi means now a motion or a movement or an energy created towards that movement, so that we shall all be on the path of that goal. We are marching in the light and we are in the light. Gatihi. It's 8 o'clock. Please tell me, sir, have we looked at this Anuvakam like this ever before, sir, when we were chanting this? Please tell me. Please tell me, madams.
No.
What we are thinking, this Chamakam is asking all this stuff. Huh? How? Because that's what we are programmed to always, no? Getting, and forgetting. That is what we are programmed to. We ever ask the question, all of this is for me in the context of a universal peace, that I-ness is not the objective of this. And going through this entire fifth Anuvakam and divided into Yajna Kalpantam, before Yajna Kalpantam, after, just in one this Anuvakam. All the things that you have looked for in the context of a comfortable place of living, that required Ashmachame, Murtikachame, Girayaschame, Parvatashchame, Sikataschame, Vanaspateshchame, 6 that are required for a comfortable living. 6 that are required for a comfortable living. And after a comfortable living, you need to have the context of a comfortable material that needs to be cooked. Hiranyanchame, Ayaschame, Trapuschame, Shamanchame, Lohanchame. And to cook, you require fire and water. Agnischama, Apaschame. Then you require the medicinal herbs and the creepers. Virudhaschama, Voshadayaschame. That which is cultivated, not cultivated. Krishtapachinchame, Akristapachinchame. Domesticated, Gramyaschame, Pashavaha, livestock, Aranyashchame, undomesticated. All of that, Yajnena Kalpantam. And that which is acquired or procured, that which is to be procured in the past and in future, all of that vitalization of material vasu and this vitality, living vasati, living in vitality, not having a living, but having a life that is vasati, so that we engage in the action, karmaschame, with capacities and skills, shakti, and the material required towards the goal, arthaha, emaha, and march towards that goal, itihi, and march on the path of light, gatihi. I'm sorry I didn't give you all time to ask questions today. Any questions or comments?
Sairam, Sujata, when you're talking about Virudayashchame or
Virudha.
Virudha Voshadayaha, I was looking one as a bumper, crops that come again and again, like human beings, whereas the Voshadayaschame is like avatar that comes with like a medicine to treat whatever ailment humans are going through and serve their purpose and goal. I mean, it just thought occurred to me that I'll share that.
Thank you, Mike. I kind of mentioned that through Vaushadhi means the one who is short-lived but comes only once. Yes. Any other comments or questions? Everybody awake?
Yes, Anna. We are all blessed. That's all I can say.
We are all blessed, yes, together. Okay. No more questions, comments, then we'll close with 9 samastas. Sai Ram. समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु 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 ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति